Now, this Thursday, the education sector is the biggest gainer thanks to an allocation of 630 billion shillings. This is 27.4% of the budget as President William Ruto's administration seeks to provide accessible and quality education for all Kenyans. However, the health sector has received a funding cut after the National Treasury reduced its allocation by 5.6 billion shillings. Gloria Musimbi now reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The total budget for 2023-22.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
As the Ministry of Treasury tabled the 2023-2024 budget statement before the Parliament on Thursday, school heads continue to complain about the delayed disbursement of capitation funds to public primary schools to enable funding of junior secondary schools as education and the day-to-day operations of the schools. The education sector has been allocated a total of 627.7 billion Kenyan shillings, secondary education taking a chunk of it at 103.9 billion Kenyan shillings, primary education taking 32.3 billion Kenyan shillings. However, the capitation of junior secondary schools have been increased to 25.5 billion Kenyan shillings from 15 billion Kenyan shillings. At the same time, university education has been allocated 127.4 billion to 30 billion Kenyan shillings. The government has also allocated 323.8 billion to Teachers Service Commission. Part of the funds will go towards hiring 20,000 teachers and more technical and vocational education and training TVET trainers, as well as the operationalization of 21 KMTC campuses in hiring additional lecturers and staff. Basic education have been allocated 147.8 billion, whereas vocational education and training has been allocated 27.9 billion Kenyan shillings. With the school feeding program allocation being 5 billion Kenyan shillings, speaking to Hope TV, a section of Kenyans decried the budgetary increment in the education sector, stating that they are still grappling the high cost of living.
Ninawaambia tu ukweli wa Mungu, maisha imekuwa ngumu. Hii maisha sio yale maisha tulikuwa tunatarajia. Tulipiga kura tukafikiria tutakuwa na maisha mazuri, lakini yale maisha tulipigia kura ni maisha ya kuumia.
The country is not okay. Atembee kwa slums, atembee mali pengine, aone watoto wamekaa nyumbani kwa sababu hawaendi shule, na mtoto hataenda shule kama hajakula. So when you say elimu umeweka kiasi fulani ya pesa na mtoto mwenyewe ako na njaa, kuna vile mtoto ataenda shule. What I'm sure about that, mtoto hataenda kwa shule ikiwa hajashiba.
The Hustler Fund receives an additional 10 billion shillings to support an entrepreneurial endeavors, while the budget also provided funds to double the number of interns employed by the Public Service Commission from 4,000 to 8,000, each earning a monthly salary of 25,000 shillings. On the other hand, Kenyans have criticized the reduced 10.8 billion Hustler Fund allocation from the promised 100 billion Kenyan shillings during the Kenya Kwanza campaign. The Health Ministry received an allocation of 141.2 billion, down from 146.8 billion Kenyan shillings in the 2022 to 2023 financial year. Of the allocation is 116 billion Kenyan shillings, which will go to the Medical Services Department, and 24.6 billion to the Public Health Standards. And 21 billion shillings has been allocated for curative and reproductive health, while 7.3 billion for preventive and promotive health services, while 4.9 billion Kenyan shillings will go towards health research and innovation, 1.8 billion to health policy standards and regulations, and 15 billion shillings to health resources development and innovation. Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Gloria Musimbi.